Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to the video, and today we are here for another severe weather breakdown. Now, I'm not kidding when I say this is going to be the most active severe weather video on my channel thus far, because we have got so much to talk about today. We already have a tornado watch in effect, which we haven't had for like a month at least. We've got a hurricane coming, we've got major temperature changes on the way, we got a big storm that's going to move through the Central Plains. There is literally so much to talk about today, so let's go and break it all down. Starting off the SPC outlook for today, we do have two slight risks of severe weather. One is here on the Nebraska-Kansas border, and one is here in northeast Texas and southeast Oklahoma. So let's go ahead and break down the threats that these bring. Now, starting off the tornado threat for today, we have a 5% risk of a tornado. This has changed hugely since my last video, because now we have a 5% chance to see a tornado here in this region, and this is a decently large region, so there's a very high chance that we're going to see at least one or two tornadoes tonight, especially since, like I said earlier, we already have a tornado watch in effect, which is insane. So yeah, there is currently a severe weather event ongoing, or at least about to start, like as soon as this video goes up here in this region, so you guys need to be watching out today. So Colby, McCook, all the way up to Valentine almost, look out for a potential tornado. We also have a 2% risk down here in the southeastern plains, including Dallas, Norman, not quite up to Oklahoma City, not quite out to Fort Sill, not quite out to Wichita Falls, but skimming the eastern surfaces of those cities. So damaging wind threat for today, we have two 15% risks of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher. One is here in the Central Plains, and one is here in that Texas-Oklahoma border region. So we need to be looking out in both these regions today. We could see some wind gusts that exceed 60 miles an hour, so definitely look out in those regions. Not only do we have a tornado threat today, not only do we have a damaging wind threat today, but we also have a pretty significant large hail threat for today, as we do have a hatched risk to see hail. So if you're in the yellow circle, then you have a 15% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger, but if you're in the yellow circle and inside of this black line circle, that's a 15% chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger. So not only could we potentially see a tornado in this region tonight, but we could see some hail up to baseball size or larger, so we really need to be looking out today. There's a lot of concern over this region right now, as we are entering the second severe weather season of the year as we go into fall. Moving on to tomorrow here, it's also just as active, if not even more. We have a slight risk of severe weather here in the upper western Midwest here. And then we have a slight risk here on the East Coast because we have a tropical cyclone coming. So let's go ahead and break down the tornado threat for tomorrow. We already have a 5% risk of a tornado tomorrow here in eastern North Carolina. This includes New Bern, Havelock, and Washington. So all of those places in North Carolina, look out tomorrow. You could see a tornado with this tropical storm that's coming. This is an out-of-the-blue thing, you know, and I've said we had to be watching this for a while, and it turns out I was right, because now this is formed, and it's bad. And then we also have a 2% risk of a tornado tomorrow here in northwestern Nebraska and southwestern South Dakota, so also look out for that. Moving on to Saturday here, we already have a huge slight risk of severe weather here across the Central Plains and the western Midwest that we need to look out for, because we very well could see an enhanced risk out of this. And then we also have a marginal risk on the East Coast for the remnants of the tropical storm. So this is going to be a very, very active 3 days in terms of just severe storms alone. Moving on to the National Hurricane Center here, we have post-tropical cyclone 16. So basically, this is going to be hurricane, I looked at it earlier, I don't remember what it was, but it starts with an O. And it was a girl name. It's not Olivia. It was something along those lines. But this is not going to be a hurricane, but it will make landfall as a tropical storm here at around 60 miles an hour here in North Carolina. Very damaging winds. And then also, like I said, there's a huge tornado potential with this. But we're going to break that down more later. We have a disturbance here that has a 40% chance to form the next 48 hours and an 80% chance to form the next 7 days. And I've said that we needed to be watching this, and it just popped off and is now going for this. Well, I've also said that we need to be watching for this, and this could pop off and go for really anywhere here in Central or South America, it's looking like at this point. So we need to look out for this, or it could take a steer up north and head for the U.S. We really don't know as of right now. And then we have Hurricane Nigel here, which is not going to do anything from now on, turn into a tropical storm, and then going into Sunday, it will be gone. Eastern Pacific here, we have a disturbance that does have a 50% chance to form the next 7 days and a 20% chance to form the next 48 hours, and this could head for Hawaii or skim the surface of it. We have Tropical Storm Kenneth, which is not going to make landfall, and by Sunday, once again, we will not have to worry about it anymore. And then we have this disturbance that has a 20% chance to form the next 7 days and a 20% chance to form the next 48 hours. That doesn't look like we're going to need to worry about it. But this as well, Hawaii, you're not off the gun either for severe weather. This orange area, this could turn into a tropical cyclone and could affect Hawaii. So do look out for that. Moving on to the Climate Prediction Center here, 6 to 10 day outlooks. Our giant heat dome here is still sitting up in the upper Midwest and has even gotten stronger with an 80 to 90% chance to see above average temperatures from the 27th to the 1st here in north central Minnesota. So do look out for that. This heat dome extends across a good portion of the country, but the worst of it will sit here in the western Midwest, specifically the upper western Midwest. So do look out for that. And then cooler temperatures are in place here for the Northwest, including states like Oregon and Washington, where you're going to have a 60 to 70% chance to see below average temperatures from the 27th to the 1st. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. We have a large area that could see above average precipitation here. 60 to 70% chance to see above average precipitation for portions of Washington and Oregon. So we do need to be looking out here because this could turn into snow since we're seeing a lot cooler temperatures and a lot heavier precipitation in this region. We could get some snowfall potentially up here. We've already had some snowfall in the Montana-Idaho region. So we could get our first snow here in this area. We don't know too much yet. And then we do have a pretty decent drought ongoing here in the Northeast. And these below average precipitation will expand down into the Midwest and even the deep South here from the 27th to the 1st, but it won't be too severe. Just some below average precipitation. Let's go and move on to the 8 to 14 day outlooks. The heat dome is still sitting here in the upper Midwest. So look out for that. That's going to be a 70 to 80% chance to see above average temperatures from the 29th to the 5th. And then below average temperatures still expected for a good portion of the western U.S. here. If you're in the darkest shade of blue, that's a 50 to 60% chance to see below average temperatures. So do look out for that. 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook. Still got below average precipitation likely here for the eastern U.S. and then above average precipitation likely here for the western U.S. as well as mainly in the northwestern U.S. So look out for that. Could see some snow once again in this region. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to the path for this tropical storm that is going to make landfall here near North Carolina. So within the next probably 48 hours, we're most likely going to see a landfall as we do have tropical storm warnings in effect. We do have some storm surge watches in effect too in this region. It's expected to make landfall sometime around 8 a.m. on Saturday here as a 60 mile per hour storm, like I said. And I'd like to point out, if you're not in this cone, that doesn't mean you're not in the threat. That just means you're not going to get the direct impact, most likely. But Greenville is a pretty populated region, and it's a place that we could definitely see a landfall here. Same thing with Jacksonville, Emerald Isle, Kitty Hawk, Virginia Beach. This thing will move up to the Virginia region. By this point, it'll be a 45 mile per hour storm. Continue to move north here, up into the Delmarva region, and then it is going to be a 35 mile per hour storm at that point, and then take a sharp turn to the east, potentially impact New York City just a little bit here, and then it'll finish its lifetime off and at a 30 mile per hour storm here, but will affect a good portion of the Northeast and the New England states. So do look out for this thing. It is coming, and it is going to be here pretty soon. I mean, it all just sparked up out of nowhere, and like I was saying for the past few days now, I was saying we needed to watch this area, and it has now formed, and you can see why I was so concerned about it, because we have a full-on tropical storm coming. Watches, warnings, advisories. Like I said, tornado watch is in effect here for portions of Nebraska and Kansas. These are not low-end tornado watches either. I believe there was I can't think. A 50% chance to see a tornado in this region tonight. So anywhere in here you have a chance to see a tornado. And then Tonight, we also have a 20% chance to see an EF2 to EF5 tornado, so we could even see a large tornado tonight. Severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect right now, kind of scattered across the Central Plains. Right now, there's nothing too concerning, but by the time this video goes up, it will start to strengthen. But right now, we got 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, pretty much that's. And then we have different tropical storm warnings, storm surge watches, high wind warnings, all that in effect here for the East Coast, as we are going to see an impact from this tropical storm. Our winter weather advisories, we still do have a few of them here in the Montana, Idaho region. They have shifted off to the west just a little bit more so. Red flag warning is in effect for Northern California. Air quality alerts in effect for Central California. And then for Southern California, you have wind advisories in effect. So really the entire state for the past few days has been pretty active. So do look out in this region. Freeze warnings are in effect here. Or is this this is a freeze watch, my bad. Freeze watches in effect here for portions of Wyoming, specifically western Wyoming, so do look out for that. We also have high wind watches in effect for southeastern Wyoming. But other than that, pretty, I'm not even going to say pretty calm right now like I usually do, because it's not calm right now. We got a lot of stuff going on, so do look out. But that's pretty much it for today. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want daily, sometimes even 2 times a day, updates on what this tropical storm is going to do, what the severe storms are going to look like, or what the weather's just going to look like in general for the next few days, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.